Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Jerry.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
We're the early people this time. Huh.
Yeah, how are you, Jody?
Good. How about yourself?
Bad.
How's Evan doing? Is he doing like online learning, or is he in school?
It's kind of strange. His kindergarten group is the only one that is going to school. So literally, he has 4 kids in his class, and first grade, second grade is not there. So there's 4 kids in the entire school.
How they get the teacher out of themselves.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than those really huge classes where you can't get the teacher's attention, like
Yeah.
when I was in high school, we had to have portables because we didn't have enough room for all the students. We just had so many students.
Where'd you go to school?
Mount Hebron High School in Ellicott City, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we had 3 lunch shifts just because we had such a huge population at the high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, a smaller ratio is nice.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Joe.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Jody. I'm looking forward to your speech.
So am I.
I am. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. Well, I'm going to share some news. So evidently, I was exposed to COVID at some time because I had, the Red Cross. You give blood, you get tested for the serological.
Right.
So that tells you whether or not you've had COVID at some time. So I think back at the start of the whole crisis, I think that's when I got it.
Oh.
Very mild case. It didn't have all the symptoms, just had a fever, felt sick like the flu. My wife did too, so it was probably just the 2 of us. And so it shows you how long the antibodies stay around, at least if you get a good case of it, a decent case of it. So tomorrow I'm going to go actually get the regular test to tell whether or not you have it. They have that at work, but they also next week are starting the serological one, which tells you whether you've had it. So just to see if it was a false positive, I'll go get another test. Right. But yeah, just shows you anybody can get it.
And you're feeling fine though.
Oh yeah, because the only thing I have is a slight, at night I get a cough a little bit. So that could be part of it, but it just could be sinuses too. So it's hard to tell. And the aches and pains I get are just probably from old age. Like Larry, I'm sure he gets lots of.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on. Don't start with the old age jokes.
Because of the vigorous workout that I just did. Yes, you're right.
Well, I just walked 5 miles, so maybe that's why I'm feeling it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Good exercise.
Yep.
Hey, Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you doing?
Fine. What does that mean? You're still working too much?
I don't have much free time. I'll put it that way.
Well, that can be a good thing because then you stay out of trouble.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't
Scott.
so that's good.
You wouldn't get into trouble though, would you, Andrew?
No.
No, okay. I'm just giving you a hard time. Hey, Selena, I'm looking forward to your inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
We all need to be inspired at this point in time.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yes, let's get us through 2020 and into 2021, please.
Oh. Definitely. But last year we were in a rush to get into 2020.
Oh, I know. We need a crystal ball.
I know. So we don't know what's on the other side of 2021. So
that's true. So
you gotta stay in prayer.
Right. And that's what they say. That's why you should enjoy every single day.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So I'm still working on that.
So have you guys heard that French or the Canadian comedian who talks to herself 6 months prior? So she does these series of skits where she talks to herself 6 months in the past, and they have these conversations. Well, they give the news, and so what's going on? Oh, what? You know, so it's pretty funny. So it's what's her name, honey? Yeah, I don't know, but it's yeah.
Hello.
Gives her
I
past.
gotta remember canoe.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so if we could look into the future and then remember the past too, we'd be 100% right there. I can see that Jerry has an insight here. His mouth is kind of poised. I can see the.
He's thinking. I know,
Yeah,
right?
you can see that. Jerry is thinking.
So what are we talking about?
What were we talking about, Joe? Say what the comedian does.
Oh, well, this Canadian comedian, she talks to her she has these skits where she talks to herself 6 months in the past. So in one case she said, oh yeah, buy stock in Zoom. I can't say anymore. And her past person saying, you know, like, oh yeah, the fires are really bad. Oh, that's not going to be a big deal. What? And it's just hilarious to think about things that we've seen 6 months ago.
Go lay down.
It's hilarious.
Mm.
Julie Nolte is her name.
Okay. Hey, Larry, how are you doing? I haven't heard much out of you.
Well, busy.
Busy, good,
Trying to wrap things up before the meeting starts.
good. And Bakari, it's so good to see you.
Thank you very much. How's everybody doing?
Sorry.
Hey, hi guys. Everybody had a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was small. I mean, I had my mother and my
different.
mother-in-law.
It was different.
Ah, okay. I guess you guys kept it all together and had this Zoom virtual family meetings, right?
I didn't do Zoom. I'm kind of tired of it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Hi,
There-
Christine.
Hi, Christine.
We did a 3-hour FaceTime with our daughters preparing meals.
Christine,
And
I
so it
gotta
was
mail
like-
you your gift.
So it was just like they were here.
Oh, I know.
Mail me my gift?
Yeah, I'm sending you a message.
Oh,
Oh, is that your art studio, Christine? See lots of art.
that is.
Very cool. Very cheerful. That's what we need. Bright colors.
Yeah. Cooler than any other virtual backgrounds.
Oh, let's look at our real background here.
Oh, yay! There you go.
Hey, Larry, I have the old original our club's banner. I'll have to put that in the background.
Well, there
Being I'm
you go.
old.
Old original. That goes back a ways then, huh?
Yeah, but it doesn't have all the ribbons you have. They're all transferred to yours.
You look, so I don't know if anybody said, you look like you got a little sun there, Joe.
I had a dermatological peel. So it's more painful than going and getting sunburned. You know, like, or yeah, because what they have to do is they sand your face, you know, a little bit, then they put some stuff on, and you sit there for an hour waiting for it to, you know, to absorb in your skin, and then they put you under this hot. Yeah, I wear pads and dark glasses that I can't see out of. My eyes closed, and for 8 minutes I'm under the light, pretty intense light, and it burns. So it's basically to feel. You know, I have a tendency, you know, I have too much sun when I was younger. So this is, you know, my payback.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I'm so old that they used to put baby oil all over you.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that's what you did.
Terrible. That makes you
And then
big.
then you went out in the sun and you cut it fly.
Oh.
That's
my
like a
goodness.
magnifying glass.
Yeah, that's how old I am. Yeah.
So there's a lot of dumb things we did back in the Stone Ages.
Don't put it that way.
Well, I'm there too, Lisa.
Yeah, I know. But I never got out in the sun much anyway, because I was burned. But hi, Srinivas,
Hello, Srinivas.
Hey.
our
Hello,
Toastmaster
Wenfei.
of
Good
the
evening.
evening. Oh, and Winfei, our timer.
Hey,
Yay. She looks like she's in a library.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a neat background.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's Ladia. Is that how
Oh,
you
yeah.
pronounce it? Hi, Ladia.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
Really good. Thank you.
Good. Good. Glad to see you back. Yay.
Yep. Member now, so thank you.
Oh, yes.
Yay.
Yay. Our
Yay.
newest member. One of your newest
Awesome! Yay!
members.
I feel I should get a mirror or a hand mirror frame and do like romper room. Oh, I see Anu, I see Ladia. Oh, I see Jody. For that romper room.
You
Maybe,
know, Joe, you just dated yourself because Romper Room was from what, the late 50s, early
yeah,
60s?
but it was on reruns. It was on into the 60s.
Right. You had to be a good doobie and not a bad doobie?
I don't remember that stuff. I just remember the mirror thing. You know, that was.
Yeah, let's bring it up a few notches, a few years.
Geez, I go back that far and I don't remember any of that.
You know?
I just remember at the end of the show, they'd always have this mirror where they'd say, hello,
Yeah.
with happy birthday, do such and such.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember that. Where's our, Jerry, where's our little junior Toastmaster?
I don't know. He came in here with something, which usually means he's up to something. I mean, he threw an entire roll of tape yesterday. And
Oh.
so I don't know.
Hi, Beth. Starry skies. I like the background.
Thanks.
Wenfei disappeared. She's in the Matrix somewhere.
Yeah, where does that put us then? Okay.
She had the Matrix background on and then just disappeared.
Yeah, I saw that.
Been a while since I've seen that movie, but I'm sure there's a joke there.
Yeah. Hi, Chrissy.
Hi, Chrissy.
Hi.
Hey.
Our grammarian tonight.
Yes.
Is this the first role? I think you've done another role before, haven't you, Chrissy?
Yeah, I did a counter,
That's right.
which I like. I like that role too. That's a fun one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You start realizing how many people do that when you listen to interviews.
Yeah.
YouTube or things like that.
Yes.
And people do it a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
I think
Even on TV shows.
Collins is pretty good though at not doing that. I was watching an interview with him. I think he only did like one filler word. He was pretty good.
Who was it?
Phil Collins. I was watching an interview from the 80s back when he was part of Genesis.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good about not doing those kind of things. I think he only did one, and then the rest of it, you know, he just did pauses and he didn't do any filler words. So
Must
it was
have been a
pretty
Toastmaster.
good. I know. Yeah.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, everyone.
My whole screen is filled up now. It's nice.
Yeah.
All these shining faces.
Yay.
So are these new paintings, Christine? Oh, hi, Erin. Good to see you again.
The one is not. No, there's one down here. You can't see it. The new ones, well, you can't really see the new ones, the newer ones.
Oh, yeah, I have that problem too. I'm running out of space.
I love the color palette.
Colors on the painting.
Yeah, the color palette is beautiful.
I'm not sure how to do the chat. Do you go to the more button? I haven't tried this yet.
Press the chat on the bottom.
Okay, I'm gonna try it and see what happens. We'll see.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'd like to now call this meeting to order. My name is Andrew, the Sergeant at Arms. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Frederick Toastmasters Club. Friendly reminder, if you haven't already done so, please do whatever you can to minimize any distractions around you. Also, just want to let folks know and also give an opportunity if there's any objection. The meeting is being recorded for us to post to our social media after the meeting's over. So to start things off for us, please welcome our presiding officer, Larry.
Well, hello, everyone. The first album of the night. So I am excited that I had the opportunity to go by FCAR and get our stuff. So behind me, you see our banner with all the ribbons, and the newest one that was hanging, I sent you guys a picture. You can't see, all of the other ones have this neat little eyelet through, and I don't have the tools to do that. So it's kind of one there with like a clip, but it's there. So we are now officially, we have our banner in the meeting.
Yay.
So I was very happy to get that. Now you may notice that from months of being curled up in the FCAR office, all of the ribbons are kind of curled at the bottom. I thought about getting our steamer out and steaming them and seeing if that did anything, but my wife said, you might want to be careful doing that. So yeah, I don't want to ruin the ribbons. So they're slightly curled, but hey, little texture. Anyway, welcome to tonight. And unlike my usual pattern, I'm actually going to read the agenda. And so it says here that I'm welcoming, and then we go directly to the inspirational message from Selena.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Let me see, I have to unmute myself. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I am here to give you the inspirational quote this evening. So, as you know, during this time of COVID, it's a very trying time. And so I want to begin with one of the quotes that we always hear about. And it says that yesterday is the past, tomorrow is the future, but today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. So time right now is very, very precious with all the things that is going around with COVID. It's important that we really stay focused and in the moment. And so I'm going to end with reading a quote that's very dear to me, and it's called God's Minute by Dr. Benjamin Mays. God's Minute. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. So I leave you with that, fellow Toastmasters. Please stay present in the moment and enjoy every day like it's your last. Thank you.
Okay, and next, once again, following that agenda, introducing our VP of Membership, Jerry, to introduce our guests.
Thank you, Larry. We don't have any guests on the call right now, but we do have our newest Frederick Toastmaster, Ladia. Let's get it. And as we just heard from Selena, I think that's your third meeting, Selena. So just great participation from these new members, and we'll see Chrissy soon. This is her first time doing the grammarian role in something like second or third meeting. So we really appreciate those new members stepping up and taking roles. I'd like to now introduce our Toastmaster of the evening, Srinivas, who will get the rest of the agenda going. Srinivas.
Thank you, Jerry. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be your Toastmaster of the evening today. My job to keep the agenda on focus, keep every role and activity on time, and follow the agenda. So in Toastmasters, we have two broad sections. One is the presenter, speakers. The second section is the evaluations. And think of evaluations as not a judges. It's a cheerleaders. Think of them as cheerleaders for you to go ahead and perform even better in future. So let me follow the agenda looking at that. So to continue this meeting, I have helpers. So the first helper I would like to call upon is Tech Master. Jerry, could you please explain what the Tech Master does?
Thank you. What I will attempt to do this evening is embody Anu. Take all that she's taught us over these, gosh, how many months is it now? And put it into practice, working behind the scenes to make the meeting smooth as possible. And one of the things I'm going to be working on is how Anu has recently used the new feature to use multiple spotlights at the same time. So hopefully I can elevate my game at this and rise to the occasion. Since I will be running the technology, please help me out just by pausing for a moment before you speak, because it takes a second to transition both sound and the visual so that everybody has you as the focal point. As Andrew said at the beginning of the meeting, this meeting is being recorded. However, on the back end, we do have some things we can do to eliminate any parts that you want removed. So please do send us a chat. Specifically, if you would send that to Wenfei, we'd appreciate it, and we'll make sure to make that section of the meeting private. I believe that's everything. I will manage the chat, and I do ask that you manage your own mute. If I do notice any background, I will mute for you so that the meeting is without interruption. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Srinivas, I'm going to turn the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Jerry. And the next helper I have is grammarian. Chrissy, please go and explain the role of grammarian.
Thank you. So as grammarian, I'm responsible for commenting on language usage during the meeting. So throughout the meeting, I'll be listening to everyone's word usage, writing down any awkward or maybe misuse of words. But in review of Jerry's performance for grammarian, I believe it was last week that I watched, he also was able to pull some phrases that were really well used. So I hope to also incorporate that tonight. And then, of course, my job is to share the word of the day. And I'll note who used the word of the day and who used it correctly. So the word of the day tonight is refulgent. R-E-F-U-L-G-E-N-T. It's shining brightly, radiant, or gleaming. And an example in a sentence would be, Santa's eyes were refulgent as he met the children and sang holiday carols. So I look forward to this role and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chrissy. It's a great explanation of the role. And thanks for the word of the day. The next helper is Wizard of Oz. Please welcome Bakari to explain that role.
Right, good evening, everybody. I'll be listening to Oz. This is our filler words that we generally use in our speeches. And these injections affect the flow of the speech. So I'll keep account of those ones there and then let everybody know how they did at the end. So throughout these meetings, I want us to be awesome and not awful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bakari. And the last helper I have for today is timer. Wenfei, would you please explain the role of timer?
Thank you, Srinivas. I'm excited to be your timer tonight. My responsibility is to monitor time for each speaker of the prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. Each meeting segment has a designated time, and this is to help you stay within your time limit. The allotted times for prepared speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. Table topics are 1 to 2 minutes, and speech evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. I will alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red background. As a movie lover, I will have some fun late doing time today. I will be showing the green background from The Matrix at the minimum number of minutes, and the yellow one, the cute one, from The Minions at the intermediate time. The right one, let me see, from the Scarface at the maximum time allotted. When you see the right mentioned interior, please wrap up your speech in 30 seconds. I will give my report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Srinivas.
Thank you, Wenfei, that for creative backgrounds. All right, we are going to go into the main section of today's meeting, which is prepared speeches. After that, we will have a short break and followed by table topics before the final section of evaluations that's going to be led by Lisa Ripion. Let me welcome the first speaker of today, which is Jodie Smith. Her speech title is Reach Your Optimum Health, the intersection between mental health and physical activity. Let me read the intro of that speech. Did you know that your mental health, such as depression or anxiety, can be improved by physical fitness? Learn how you can improve your mental health through healthy lifestyle habits, such as frequent exercise, so you'll be prepared when challenging circumstances arise. Jodie, please take it away.
COVID-19 has brought many changes to our lives, such as quarantine, social distancing, working from home, online learning. And these changes have disrupted our normal routines. And many other changes have occurred as well. These changes demand that we learn how to develop effective coping strategies so that we can maintain our optimum level of physical health. Did you know that there is a connection between your mental health and your activity levels? Aerobic exercise, such as walking, jogging, swimming, all of these can bring relief to anxiety symptoms and provide much needed relief during these difficult times. Also, COVID-19 has brought the topic of mental health and coping skills to the forefront of our lives. Let's talk about a definition of health. According to the World Health Organization, health can be defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being that is not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Exercise can be helpful for those who suffer with anxiety or depression, and for anyone else who is struggling with elevated levels of stress due to the changes from the COVID-19 pandemic. Some benefits from aerobic exercise include cognitive function, improved cognitive function, improved self-esteem, and in some cases, social interaction, if you can incorporate group sports into your routine, although that can be difficult at this time. A possible theory for improved mood is increased blood flow to the brain. And another theory is that aerobic activity can provide a distraction from stressful situations or thoughts. So let's talk about the pathways between mental health and physical health. In a community-wide exercise intervention study, the researcher Mark A. Harris conducted a study with two groups, one group that was non-active and another group that was active. The non-active group reported 0 days of activity prior to the exercise intervention. And the group that benefited the most from this intervention was the non-active group, which reported a statistically significant increase in mental health via the post-intervention data. Now I'd like to talk about how to implement an exercise routine into your daily schedule, especially if you've been sedentary for a while. The first thing I would suggest is to find an exercise routine that suits you, whether it's at the gym or at home. You can watch workout videos on YouTube, many of which are free. My personal favorite is Lucy Wyndham Reed, or you could go outdoors and do jogging and bicycling. Start with a small increment of time, such as 10 minutes a day, to work your way up, and aim for 3 days of moderate exercise, such as brisk walking for 30 minutes a day. Some ways to keep yourself motivated: chart your progress on a calendar, such as your day and time worked out and any weight loss that you'd like to record. You can also join an online community, such as Lucy Wyndham Reed's Facebook group, if you need emotional support for your journey. And before we close, I'd like to offer you some additional resources for your coping toolkit. I've only talked about exercise, but there are many other things that you could do to help maintain your mental health equilibrium. The National Alliance on Mental Health has a wonderful resource. It's called the COVID-19 Updated Guide, and it's on www.nami.org. And in this guide, it offers some different suggestions for coping mechanisms, such as using mindfulness or incorporating a daily healthy schedule into your routine, which could include exercise or healthy eating. So that's a great resource, is nami.org. And another resource I should like to include is if you are needing professional help from a qualified counselor, you can reach out to the Maryland Department of Health at the Behavioral Health Administration, and their website is www.bha.health.maryland.gov, and they offer both inpatient and outpatient mental health assistance. You can also reach them by calling 1-800-888-1965. And if you want some more specific help, there is a website called awayforwardtogether.org, which is associated with the Frederick County Health Department, and they offer support to anyone who is dealing with substance abuse or depression or trauma. And you can reach that website at awayforwardtogether.org. And if you are in crisis, you can talk to someone by calling 211. So in conclusion, if you incorporate exercise into your daily routine, it will give you the resilience that you need to deal with the current situation and any other stressful situations that you might encounter in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
A lot of good information in this, especially difficult times. Absolutely reminding ourselves of importance of exercise and keeping all aspects of our lives healthy. Going to our second prepared speech. Speaker is Christine Limparis. The title of our speech is, "If you want to go farther, go together." And the intro of our speech is, Christine had fun with the leadership project in her level 5 effective coaching. Details of the project were presented in an earlier speech and need not be repeated tonight. This speech is simply to share an experience developing and completing the plan. Please welcome Christine.
You're muted, Christine.
There you go. Welcome, fellow Toastmasters. What's the best way to complete a big project? When people are depending on you and there are deadlines, how forceful of a leader must you be? There's an old African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. My career has been public accounting, where firms are notorious for not turning down work. No matter how big the project, we always think we can get it done. During tax season, in my very first one, my first accounting job, and tax season is February, March, and April. Staff work huge amounts of overtime. So at that first job, smack in the middle of tax season, the firm's partners decided to take on a huge client, a bank needing 200 trust tax returns, which was a seemingly impossible feat on top of the already grueling schedule. But accounting firms don't like to say no. One partner, Randy, was a dictator leader and also a workhorse. The other 6 partners, worried, how the heck are we going to get the work done, went to Randy, asking/telling him to meet the deadline. No matter what it took, meet the deadline, which he successfully did. Though the goal was met, Randy's methods were cruel. If a tax return with errors was given to him for a review, he would throw the papers back at the staff. He yelled, he bullied, but he got it done. He met the deadline. The staff was in an uproar, morale at an all-time low. The other partners, the ones who had gone to Randy, went into damage control, which included reprimanding Randy and asking/telling him to apologize to the staff. Astoundingly, Randy did not understand. He did not get it. He was baffled. You told me to get the job done on time, no matter what it took, and I did. Why are you now scolding me? For Randy, if you want to go fast, go alone, regardless of the consequences to a team. So, what is the best way to complete a project? How forceful as a leader must you be? Do you go faster alone or farther together? In my level 5 of effective coaching, I was to lead a team for a special project. I chose to lead a team with the vision of creating an even more vibrant mentoring program for our club. Earlier in my career, I was driven and focused almost entirely on goals. With a project, I didn't need everyone making decisions. I didn't need collaboration or consensus. I already knew what to do and how to do it. Simply do what I say and get it done. As the years passed, though, I came to understand and truly appreciate how the process to reach a goal is as important as reaching the goal itself. And that process is teamwork, allowing a team to collaborate and make decisions, not dictating to them. How might Randy have done this? I'm convinced that if he had pulled the team together and asked them to decide how to get the work done and on time, they would have figured it out and been proud as heck at the end, which would have been the greatest reward of all. Going farther together was my approach in leading the team. Even though it wasn't an urgent project, I still could have said, here's what I think we ought to do, dragging the team along with me, agreeing with my ideas, going along with what I wanted. But it was extremely important to me, paramount, that it be truly collaborative, with all ideas honored and decisions made as a group. I wanted this to be a club project, not my personal project. First was to pull together a team. If I were to sum up the team approach in a few words, I would say team, purpose, why, and how. Team, purpose, why, and how. First was to pull together a good team, a diverse team with different perspectives and ideas. I chose a team of 6. While the project could have been completed faster with only 2 or 3 people, and could have been completed even faster by myself, the result wouldn't have been near as rich and meaningful as it was. After pulling together a team, next was to clearly define our vision and purpose, our why. Why is this project important? Why is it even worth our time? Lastly, once everyone understood and agreed on our purpose and why, it was simply a matter of how. How do we do it? How do we translate the vision into something tangible? And that's what the team did. While I led and facilitated, in the end, it was the team who came up with the ideas and made the important decisions. Tonight, I'm honored to recognize the team members for their dedication and generous giving of their time. I'm so proud of them. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Wen-Fei. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Anu. And thank you, Dom. You did a wonderful job for which I'm truly grateful. Thanks to this team, all new members will be matched quickly with a mentor. The mentors will be trained, there'll be consistency in the mentoring program, and it will be monitored for success. The mentoring program is for you, for everyone, all of you, to learn, to teach, to grow, and most importantly, to go farther together. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. What a great insight you've shared. Respect to, and nice quote, by the way. Go faster versus going farther. And the third speech, prepared speech, will be given by Larry Riggs. And he's doing from the Pathways Project, Dynamic Leadership, Level 2, Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. And the title of his speech.
Okay, I'm ready. You are.
Okay. Title of the speech is Mentoring from the Perspective of an Experienced Protégé. And the intro, he sent me an email. Let me read through that intro. Mentoring in Toastmasters is not just for new members. I'll be sharing my experience as a protégé from the perspective of being an experienced speaker and Toastmaster. No matter how far we feel we have come, we can always continue to grow. Please welcome Larry Riggs.
Well, let me start with where I started. When I joined Toastmasters, I had already been speaking publicly for many years. So I was used to being in front of people, and I'm one of the small percentage of the population that actually liked being in front of people speaking from the day one. So that wasn't an issue for me, but I thought, well, I could come and sharpen my skills. And I proceeded that way for a while, and then something interesting happened, a change in perspective for me. I changed brokerages, and my broker agreed to coach me. And I found out something. As long as I had been selling real estate, there was a whole lot I didn't know. As a matter of fact, the other day I told her, the world that I built my business in doesn't exist anymore. And so I'm a student, I'm starting fresh. And that system of knowledge occurred to me to perhaps apply elsewhere. I'd been a mentor before, I'd helped other speakers, and I thought to myself, you know, maybe, I know this is a crazy idea, mentoring could help me. So I asked someone, the coordinator of our mentoring program, to be my mentor. I thought she was a good fit, I knew her well, I'd seen her grow as a speaker, and I thought she was very effective. And so I thought that would be the right fit. I know that's one thing that our mentoring program tries to do, is make sure that when you're assigned a mentor, that you have a good fit with the person that you are working with as mentor and protege. The next part was that I needed to make a commitment. I made a commitment to my coach, and it really benefited me. My business grew tremendously. So I said to myself, okay, I'm an experienced speaker. I have been speaking a lot longer than my mentor, but just maybe she has a perspective that I don't. She sees things that I don't, which did turn out to be the case. And so I made a commitment to her that I would listen, that I wouldn't just wing it, because interestingly enough, just as she shared in a speech, you can go fast alone. And I taught for many years of thousands of hours of classroom time and you name it. But just maybe there could be an improvement if I didn't try to wing it, if I didn't try to do it alone. So I made a commitment to her. Now I will say, I want to share that mentoring versus coaching, probably what I do with Christine is closer to coaching, but also mentoring. But the other thing to mention about that is that in our mentoring program, part of the assessment is to find out what you want as a protege, what's going to help you, and to pair a mentor with you based on those terms. And so that's what we did. And I know you're not going to believe this, but you probably will because some of you commented about it. I thought I was a really good speaker. But interestingly enough, I started to get comments from some of you that my speeches were actually better once I had a mentor. Now, that was a little bit of a wound at first. I mean, after all, I've been doing this for decades. But I had already learned from coaching that, no matter what you think you know, you don't know it all. And there's always more to learn. There's always a way to grow. And I can remember rehearsing some speeches with my mentor and having her ask me to make some changes. Now, my first thought, of course, I didn't voice it to her at the time. My first thought was, wait a minute, I'm pretty good at this. Why do you want me to change it? But I remembered, well, of course, she reminded me too, that I'd made a commitment. And so I made the changes. And you all thought I was better. And I appreciate that input. I know that I've grown. Here's the thing. When you get instruction, when you get mentoring, there's two paths you can take. You can argue, like I was doing mentally, or you can maybe yield some ego and say, maybe this person has a perspective that I don't. Maybe they see things that I don't. Because I remember talking to my coach about that. And I told her, I said, you're the eyes outside my business. I've been doing this for a long time, but you see things I don't. And that really worked for me. And in my mentoring, sure enough, my mentor was able to see things that I didn't. She was able to fine tune some of the way I presented, my pace, my body language, all sorts of things that I knew I had learned from Toastmasters, but hearing it from someone else's perspective, that made a difference. Because after all, when we're presenting to a group, it doesn't matter what we think, it's what they understand, and it's what they get out of what we say. And so I'm very thankful that I had the experience of being mentored, even though I'm experienced. I agreed to yield some of my ego and let go of some of what I thought I knew and receive a reward for that. Now I'm going to finish by sharing a story that I think really illustrates this point very well. If you're familiar with Bruce Lee, he's a very accomplished martial artist. And the story goes, someone came to him and said, teach me what you know. And he said, okay, show me what you know. And the person went through all of what they knew. And he sat the person down. And here's what he did. He poured in one glass soda, and he poured in the other glass clear water. And he said, this is what you know. This is what I know. I can't give you what I know until you're willing to pour out what you know. And I will tell you, as experienced in speaking as I am and as humbling as that was, I found out that when I was willing to pour out what I knew and receive from somebody else what they knew, I improved. And so I guess that's my challenge to you. Are you willing, if you're a protege, to pour out what you know? Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, Larry. What a effulgent speeches tonight. Wow. Transformative. So we are 1 minute ahead of our schedule. So we're going to take a short break and then come back for table topics. And we have until 10 minutes, which is 7:28. Relax. Jerry, you're on mute.
Thank you. I just wanted to say hi to Alex. I saw Alex join, and it's been a long time, Mr. Alex.
It's probably been about a year. How's it going, everybody?
Woohoo! Alex.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Alex has recently been employed by, wait for it, AWS.
Yeah. I started this week, actually, which is
Wow, awesome.
Yeah. And the
For
reason
the
why
non-technical, that's Amazon Web Services.
Yeah.
The mecca of web programming.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cloud.
Yeah.
How has your first week been so far?
Like normal onboarding, you know, lots of training videos, stuff like don't insult people and you know. It's important to have those videos, but you know how that kind of stuff is. It's
Riveting.
It is riveting. Yeah, it's very exciting.
That's good to see you.
How's everyone been? I hope everyone's been well. I've really missed going to Toastmasters. I moved to another job. Like I moved jobs a lot, but about a year ago, and that's when I stopped coming because I just couldn't make it anymore, unfortunately. But now it's virtual. It's very easy for me to be here. So.
Good. You should come back more.
Yeah, I want to. I'm definitely planning on it. I miss seeing you guys.
I met Larry. I think it was you that a few weeks ago in your speech. I think it was you. Didn't you say that Alex had encouraged you to get outside of your comfort zone? Was that you or someone else?
I think that might have been someone else.
It was someone else. Okay, I can't remember who it was, but it was just a few weeks ago. So I was messaging with Alex about something else, and I said, someone in the club just referenced you in their speech, so we're still thinking about you.
Glad I inspired somebody.
I think Jerry mentioned it, I think.
It must have been Jerry. Yes,
Jerry.
yes,
The
that's
mentor.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Jerry.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I did mentor him.
Yeah.
And Joe mentioned him, Alexander Bell, one time.
Not Bell. Yeah, that's close.
Remember that? Wow, what a coach today. It's like we're running with a lot of quotes today, starting with inspiration. God's minute.
So in all the stuff that, I've learned though, I am going to have to work on how to do those cool backgrounds. Although, you know, I couldn't do a background tonight because we got the banner back.
That is already a cool background.
Agreed. That's pretty good. I put this general background up because I occasionally have a very messy room behind me, so it's less about being cool and more about being not uncool.
Oh, trust me, the camera is focused on what's the few spaces in my office that are neat. You don't even want to see my desk. It's just insane.
I think there was a famous quote by Einstein where he talked about how messy his desk was, and the quote referenced basically how, you know, if his desk was so messy and he had such a complicated mind, then what does that say about people who have a really organized desk? There it is. Yeah.
That's a good one. I'll use that in the future.
Now I feel better.
Well, if you spend all your time cleaning up your desk, you're working against the natural tendency of the universe, which is towards entropy, which is, you know, disorder. So you have to expend energy to do that. And that means you're not spending energy on other important things. So it's another way to look at it.
Well, actually, though, speaking of learning new things, I just started this program called Learn, Do, Become. And it's about getting rid of your piles. And like and I get a lot of email. My inbox was, I tried to keep it below 50, but generally it was 100, 120 range. There are, only because I'm in the meeting now and I haven't had a chance to deal with, there are 5 emails in my inbox. Everything else is sorted in its place. So there is actually organization without having an organized way of organizing. It's fruitless. If you got a brain like mine, and thank God my coach is also just as OCD as me, and she gives me some great tips. Because I called her one day, we were on a coaching call, and I was telling her how overwhelmed I was. We were FaceTiming because I had 6 settlements going and all this stuff, and she's like a broker in 4 states. You know, she does so much. And so when I had finished my complaining about how overwhelmed I was, she held up her little book of all the, she has this book that's super organized. And she said, you see what I have on my plate? And it was like an instant, I shut up, okay? And I told her today in our meeting, or yesterday in our meeting, I said, okay, I understand there's a difference between overwhelmed and disorganized. I'm disorganized.
I think that's why it's great if you can work with people who are really good or sometimes even better than you, because it can help what you're into doing in perspective and be inspiring at the same time. So
yeah,
I think having coaches like that is really cool.
Good to see you, Alex.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? How you doing, Christine?
Yeah,
I miss
your
you
face
guys.
is against the light, so that's why it's dark to notice.
Yeah, I have like a light behind me that's kind of blocking me. I'm trying to angle my head, but
yeah, when you move your head a certain direction, like half of it disappears.
yeah, if I get it like this, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
Camera a bit.
We still know it's you.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but about halfway through Christine's speech, none other than number 7 joined. So he's been around. You'll have to tell him we said hello, Christine.
Yeah, it took me a few minutes. I'm like, who the heck is number 7? And then finally it dawned on me. His name is David, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It took me a while to remember his name.
Named him as
He thought that nobody could see him too. He said, "Do you mean people can see me?" I was like, "Yeah, we could see you."
So for those of you who don't know who number 7 is, Chris gave a really, really great speech, one of my favorites of all time, about dating. And it was called My Number Is, was it 7 in the speech title? What's yours? And it talked about, or it maybe, yeah, it started out being number 10. It talked about how many people do you have to date before you find the one? David was number 7 and he was the one. So that's who was on earlier. And I love that speech. That was so good.
And that's like, it's going on 2 years, isn't it?
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that much.
I remember that speech, but I'll tell you the one that I really remember, and the reason, I said you've grown so much, the one about your daughter and the glass on the deck. That was
Love that speech.
Yeah.
I remember that one. That was a
Yeah.
good one.
Yep. Was that a contest speech, Christine?
It was, I think.
Area contest, yes.
So good.
I got to tell you, that says something. I can't remember pretty much any of my speeches, but I can remember yours, Christine.
I remember your speech about YouTube, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Somebody does. That's great.
You did world-class table topics on Halloween. Hands down, the best table topic I have ever heard. And probably will ever hear.
It was good.
Oh, thank you.
Nice background, that speaks about your recent transformation about getting things tidy.
Yeah, getting things tidy behind a visual background, actually.
No, the speech about that get rid of things that you don't need and that.
Yeah, actually, I just hide it behind my virtual background. But yeah, it's kind of tidy.
Larry's quote for the evening is going to be, you have to have an organized way of being organized.
I like that.
Yeah, try to open up one of your drawers. I'm like scared to look at my drawers. Some of the drawers, they're like, what's happening? What did I put in? I think we are out of time now. Back to our next section of the meeting today, which is table topics. So leading our table topics section, please welcome Ono Kong.
Hello, everyone. Tonight, I'm your table topic master. Table topics enables you to develop skills of impromptu speaking, and table topics help you to quickly organize, which is our word of the kind of, organize and express your thoughts. You can think of the table topic speech as a mini speech with an opening, a body, and a conclusion. And this provides a speaking opportunity for any members who especially don't have any duties on the meeting agenda. Tonight, the table topic theme is, as my background, winter and holidays. I will give you a question and you will have 1 to 2 minutes to give your mini speech. And even though the question is like a yes or no question, please make an effort to try to make a speech as long as 2 minutes. So I will give you the question first. And if anybody wants to give it a try, please raise your hand or chat on the box, me or anything like that. My first question, wait a second. My first question would be, describe your holiday decoration style. Describe your holiday decoration style. Anyone?
See, Jerry's said me.
Okay, Jerry, go for it.
My holiday decoration style is to do what other people don't enjoy doing. Who likes to trim the tree? You know those artificial trees that have the spokes and you have to bend them every which way to get them to fill those blank spots? I like to do that. But I don't like to put the little ornaments on the tree. For some reason that annoys me. I like to wash the dishes. My wife likes to dry. It works out like that in my family. My role is putting up the Christmas tree, getting it just right for Evan and my wife, Vicky, to put all those ornaments on, while I go up and clean up the mess in the background. To me, it's sanity. It's organized chaos. That little portion trying to figure out where those ornaments that are dislike, and they're things from Vicky's childhood and things from Evan's, that part is a little bit chaotic for me. So to me, I embrace what I can control in the holiday season, which is that little piece that no one else likes to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for sharing your decoration style. Different than from any other else. My second question would be a little bit related to that answer. Which tree do you prefer at Christmas time? Artificial or real? Which tree do you prefer at Christmas time? Artificial or real?
See, Tom typed me too.
Tom, would you like to do that? I guess it was answer for the chores.
I'm happy to take it though. Yeah, it was originally me agreeing with Jerry, because that is exactly what I do. I can unstuff the tree and manipulate all the bits and pieces to get it to fill in the holes, which is so exactly what happens. And then Beth steps in and does all the rest. That's just insanity trying to put all those little pieces on there. All right, so yeah, I can take the question.
Tom,
okay, so for me, the question is artificial tree or real tree? That's the age-old question. All of the environmental concerns, oh, do I really want to cut down a living tree and harm the environment, or do I want to buy a bunch of plastic and put it in my house? All of that aside, we go with an artificial tree. Now, when I grew up as a kid, we had the real tree, and we'd water it all the time to keep it from drying out. You deal with the needles on the floor, but you'd get to experience that wonderful smell, that pine tree smell. There's nothing like that. But as life gets more complicated, as things progress and artificial trees become much easier to deal with than the real trees, ever since we've had our own family, we've had the artificial tree. And I've gone completely to the end of the spectrum now. Last year, we bought the pre-lit artificial Christmas tree, of course, from Costco. So it's fairly big artificial Christmas tree, and you unzip it out of the bag and stack all the pieces together, and still have to fuss with those arms to get things just right. Plug it in, push the button, boom. And then Beth steps in and does her magic and puts all the bits and pieces and the ornaments from Joshua and the ornaments from Adam and puts them in just the right places and remembers all the stories. But I have one secret weapon to bring back that pine smell. Around the bottom of the tree, I assemble the train, but this train has a little smoker in it, and I put in the pine scented smoke. So when we turn the train on, it goes around the track, chug and chug, and it makes the little waft of smoke, and I get the pine scent. And I'm right back at home with mom and dad and the real tree and all of those memories. So for me, it's an artificial tree with a little touch of home.
I really like that idea of having a smoke of a real pine tree. I would like to have the third question, a bit different though. Is giving gift cards as presents practical or tacky? Is giving gift cards as present practical or tacky? If no one goes, I would like to pick Alex.
I'm happy to go. I can't remember. Guests allowed. Guests can do table topics, right? So I have always been an incredibly efficient person. Even when we were kids and our mom would assign us to clean, I was the one to get it to 75% of 100% and move on to the next thing. So the thing about gifts is you have to be really good about picking the perfect thing that you know that person's going to like. And I know most people well enough, but I don't know them perfectly, including my siblings. So unless they direct me to exactly what they want, I'm not going to be able to pick a good gift for them. So what I like to do is I like to go for gift cards with inside of like a postcard, because I can go to Giant. It's right there. It's very consistent cost, 20, 30 bucks. They're never going to be unhappy with it. They'll be happy enough, and it shows that I'm thinking about them. So it saves me a lot of time. So for somebody like me, I don't consider it tacky. I consider it very efficient.
Thank you, Alex, coming as guest and
Thank
being
you.
a participant.
No, I actually liked, it's my favorite part is doing the impromptu stuff. Table topics.
Well, next question would be a little bit easier, I guess. How do you usually spend holidays? How do you usually spend holidays? Anyone wants to try it? How about Ladia? Would you like to try it?
Not sure I'm ready yet, but I can share my experience, but mine is gonna be probably with a lot of in there.
It's fine.
I love to spend time with my family, especially the not small one that I have here in the United States, my husband and my son. The rest of my family is in Slovakia, so most of the time that we just talk on the phone and share what they're doing there. And it's really tough. It's definitely tough every time I hear where they went and what they did together. It brings memories back, which is great, but also sad at the same time. So it's really tough and beautiful. I love Christmas. That's my favorite holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. I can definitely go with you that it's really good and sad at the same time. Next question, a bit of food, if anyone likes food. Is your dessert choice pie or cake? Is your dessert choice pie or cake? Beth?
Is my dessert choice pie or cake? Both. And I'm not talking just taking a slice of pie and a slice of cake. That's good too. I'm talking taking a pie that's already been baked or perhaps purchased baked, because I don't make pies, and positioning it into a pan of cake batter. And then putting that pan in the oven. And when it comes out, it's actually called a pie cakin'. I've only had pie cakin' once. It was at Thanksgiving a few years ago. It was pretty late at night and we sort of had the munchies. We had been eating a lot of Thanksgiving food, turkey and stuffing and whatnot, and had lots of pie and various things to eat, but none of it was good enough because we'd been having too much of that. We wanted something different. So we made a late night run to the grocery store and we bought a cherry pie and a devil's food cake mix. And we came back to the house and we did just that. We took that cherry pie, we mixed up the batter, put it in the pan, put the cherry pie in the batter, put it in the oven, and made ourselves the most delicious pie cakin'.
I would never imagine an answer like that. And I really want to try that. I think that's almost the time for the table topics. We had 5 questions and 5 answers, I guess. So I would like to give my control back to Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu. Wow, again, effulgent topics and a lot of good ideas as to how to uh, bring back the childhood memories, and then got a recipe, new recipe. Never thought about that actually. Still possible. All right, the next section is our cheerleading section, which is evaluations. To lead that section, please welcome Lisa Ripion. Lisa?
Thank you, Srinivas. And I love being described as a cheerleader. I was never a cheerleader in high school. Oh, no, no, no. No, I wasn't that popular. So now I'm a cheerleader. I like it. And I have, as a general evaluator, I am responsible for the other cheerleaders that we have, the evaluation team, which would be the timer, the grammarian, the all counter, and the prepared speech evaluators. And all of these people are intricate into creating this evaluation section of our Toastmasters meeting. And it is very important because it is so integral to the Toastmaster theme, because we want to improve. We want to also describe our strengths as well as our growth points. And I think we do that quite well at Toastmasters, especially, of course, at Frederick Toastmasters, because I'm partial. So at this point, I would like to introduce our first evaluator, which is Beth May, and she's going to be evaluating Jodie's speech. So please join us in greeting Beth May.
Jodie, thank you for giving us a speech this evening on using exercise to achieve better mental and physical health, and the additional tips on how to achieve mental health, or how to get help. It's certainly a very relevant topic in these times of COVID. I think it's an important topic always, but it's especially relevant now to all of us in these COVID-19 times. In fact, I was a little bit late to tonight's meeting because I was just coming back from an exercise class at the gym, and I absolutely feel like that class is saving me. It is saving my mental health. It is saving my sanity. So I can really identify with the importance and the truth of what you shared with us tonight. You looked great. I think your jewelry, and I've got the timer in view, but I need to see you. I think you were wearing a necklace that looked somewhat refulgent. I thought you looked really nice, and you were standing up, and that created a really good presence for you. You are getting more and more confident with each of your speeches, and tonight you seemed especially confident and comfortable. And you used gestures, which were really good. I would have changed the camera angle slightly, because when you used your gestures, and I'll do it myself, there was actually a fair amount of room from your head to the ceiling. So there was plenty of room for you to adjust the angle so that we could have seen more of your hands. So we caught that sort of the top of your hand gestures, not all of them. It would have been a little bit more effective if you had angled your computer or your camera a little bit differently, so that we could see just a little bit more of you and a little bit less of the space above your head to the ceiling. In addition, you had great eye contact. I felt like you were looking right at the camera most of the time. Now, you did use notes occasionally, and so you looked off to the side to look at your notes, but then you came back, and when you did come back, you were looking right at the camera, which is hard to do. I find it hard to do. It's hard for most of us, and you did a great job of that. When you weren't looking at your notes, you were looking at the camera, and that creates the illusion for all of us that you're looking at each of us straight in the eye. So that was great. You also didn't rely on your notes exclusively. You were thoughtful, and you told me beforehand that when I asked you if there was anything in particular you wanted me to look for, you mentioned ticks and filler words. I didn't notice any ticks. You didn't touch your hair like you used to do fairly frequently. I didn't notice you touching your hair. I only noticed one the counter will tell us for sure, but I only noticed one. I thought you did a fabulous job. So you stood there and you talked about things. You occasionally checked your notes, but mostly you stayed calm and used silence, pauses, right? Instead of filler words when you were trying to think of the next thing to say, which is great. The one other thing that I would say to improve your speech and bring it to the next level is changing the segue or the transition into the conclusion. You might try to make more of an emotional appeal at the end and make it clear that you're sort of changing topics. Maybe say, and if you can't get exercise, and if you're feeling too depressed right now, or if you get exercise and it's still not working, here's some other resources. And you can leave out some of the details like the phone number, because we can find the phone number on the website. So scale back a little bit on the detail and scale up a little bit on the emotional appeal. Great job and good information, and well done the way you delivered it. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth, for that well thought out evaluation of Jodie's speech. Our next evaluator will be Erin, and she will be evaluating Christine. Please greet Erin for us.
Tonight, Christine gave her speech on effective coaching, level 5, high performance leadership. And the title is, if you want to go farther, go together. And I thought that it was so great that she started the speech with a question, which was, what's the best way to complete a big project? And right there, it started to get us thinking about, what some of the ideas might be, which kind of helped draw us into her speech. And it was also wonderful that she started as well giving the Toastmaster of the evening the intro, telling us that the speech is about sharing her experience completing a big project. So right there, I thought it was wonderful that she already framed our mind into what is about to come. And overall, I felt it was such a well-structured speech. It was very easy to follow. It was very like point to point, just flow into one another. It was easy to understand and really got it. And I thought the genius part of it was that she shared her experience about her working in an accounting firm and how the two partners, different leadership style. And geniusly, she used that to explain how to contrast or to parallel how she ran the mentoring program project, and how her early self was more like the Randy, the partner that went alone, could do it faster, but went alone. Versus later on, she later in life, she became more like the other partner that it was focusing on the teamwork, and how she ended up getting this whole project done using a team. And because she explained about that process of what happened between the two partners when she used to work in that firm, I thought that just make it so much easier to understand the point she was trying to give and just make it even more impactful. And another wonderful thing, I just think there's so many wonderful things about that speech. And another thing I noticed was that at the end, it was such a meaningful plug that she said she used the opportunity to thank her team members for helping her to complete the project and giving such a great value to the club. And at the end, she wrapped it up with pointing back to that title of, if you want to go farther, go together. It was just such a great way to wrap the whole speech. So overall, it was a very well polished, structured, and presented speech. I had to really think hard as to what else I could tell her to make it even better. So again, even though it was so great, if I had to say, you know, something to challenge yourself on, I would say, because we are in a virtual environment, maybe just put a little bit more attention to looking at the camera so that we will see that more like you're talking to us, and maybe use more hand gesture as well. But overall, really, I thought your energy was great. The pace was wonderful. It was lively voice, so it was wonderful. Just adding a little bit more gesture and looking at the camera, that would just be cherry on the cake pie dish thing that Beth May just talked about. It was great. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Erin, for that evaluation. Our final evaluation will be done by Andrew, and he'll be evaluating Larry's speech. Please join us in greeting Andrew.
All right, so Larry, first of all, I just wanted to share that one of the reasons why I wanted to evaluate you is because you are a very skillful presenter. So I saw it as an opportunity to kind of take notice of things that you do so well, and maybe by you know, having that role as your evaluator, maybe some of that might rub off on me. So I'll share some things that I thought you did really well. I'll share those first, and then I'll share some things that I think maybe could be improved on next time. And then I'll end by sharing what I thought were the most impressive takeaways. So what I saw that was really good was that you had a really great storytelling style throughout, and used that as a way to share the benefits of having a mentor. And I also thought you had really good eye contact with the camera, and it really made us feel like we would feel if we were actually in person, and you were, you know, looking at each one of us in the audience. You also had really great pauses, and your intonation and pitch variety was all really great. Also, along with the storytelling style, you had a really great build-up to illustrate the difference that mentoring has made for you as a protege. All of that was fantastic. A few things that you could improve on, and it's interesting, these are not actually speech content or delivery related, but more like technical related. So what I noticed was it would be better if you would move the camera down so that we could see more of your body, because we really couldn't see your arms at all. So whatever gestures that you were making were kind of lost. Also, I noticed that the ring light was reflecting on your eyeglasses, and that was a little distracting. And with the ending where you had the glasses of liquid, I would suggest maybe to put those off to the side in order to avoid that extreme close-up at the end. And the last thing, as far as challenging yourself in the future, maybe do a practice run beforehand and actually record yourself and then watch it, so you can see how we would see it later on. And then maybe those technical issues would jump out at you, and you could make adjustments before showtime. So the most impressive takeaways for me were the amazing ending with the Bruce Lee quote and those glasses of liquid. That I just thought was phenomenal. And you were concerned about making the point that anyone can benefit from having a mentor regardless of experience. And you nailed it completely. So you really did a great job of making that point. So thank you for allowing me to evaluate you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for evaluating Larry. Now we come to the point, the most refulgent, there you go, section of our meeting where we actually can vote for the best speaker, table topic speaker, and evaluator. So I do believe that will be, Jerry, are you sending that through to everyone? Oh, it's already there. You don't even have to ask. So I'll give you a moment to go through that and vote, and then we'll continue on.
The results are starting to come in, Lisa. We're getting a clearer picture. Probably another 3 seconds or so.
Okay. I'm working on it. There we go.
Looks good.
Okay. Just give me the go ahead, Jerry, when it's necessary, or when it's.
Go ahead.
No
I can go
recounts
ahead.
tonight, right?
Pardon?
No recounts tonight.
No, no. I'm the evaluator. No recounts. It is a done deal.
Maybe it's too close to call.
Yeah, that's true. So now we move on to actually having individual helpers give their feedback. And the first one would be the timers report. So Winfei, please greet her so she can give us the timers report.
Thank you, Lisa. Today, everyone did a great job. And for the prepared speech session, the allotted time is 5 to 7 minutes. Jody, you were 6 minutes and 28 seconds. Chris, you were 6 minutes and 52 seconds. Larry, you were 7 minutes and 29 seconds. For the table topic session, we have 5 speakers and the allotted time is 1 to 2 minutes. Jerry, you were 1 minute and 21 seconds. Tom, you were 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Alex, you were 58 seconds, but it's okay because it's the first time, right? So maybe next time, just slow speech a little bit. And Ladia, you are 37 seconds. It's also okay because everyone has the first improper speech. So my secret will be just slow speech until you say the green light. And the last speaker is Beth. You were 1 minute and 29 seconds. For the evaluation session, the allotted time is 2 to 3 minutes. Beth, you were 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Aaron, you were 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Andrew, you were 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Both evaluators went over the time a little bit. And that's all for my report. Hope you enjoy my refulgent background. Back to you. Please.
Thank you so much, Winfei. Our next helper would be coming from our grammarian. So please greet Chrissy.
Thank you, Lisa. So as grammarian, again, my job is to go ahead and look over the grammar and the words that are used. And so Jody was up first with her speech, and I really loved how you said optimal and really used that in a great way to say optimal physical health and use that throughout your speech. There's nothing wrong at all with saying some things when you were providing examples, but I just wonder if maybe next time too, we could add, instead of some things, include resources included, or maybe just change that sentence a little bit. But again, nothing wrong grammatically with that. Christine, there was a lot of, with your speech, different pronouns that you really did a great job of transitioning. So there was I, then there was he, then there was team, and then using the correct pronouns throughout. So it was a great learning experience too, to see how quickly you were able to transition between that. And then Larry, of course, the quote. So again, pouring out what you knew to receive what that person knows, and that was a great use of the grammar and that as well. What we also were looking for is, of course, we had the table topics, and Alex, yours was very concise, and both Jerry and Tom had vivid descriptions. And in looking at the word of the day, we did at the very end have a few people. So if I missed you, I apologize, but I saw that Beth used the word refulgent. Lisa did as well. Selena, I saw that you in the chat had been commenting, and then Wenfei as well. If I missed anyone, I apologize, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chrissy, for that great evaluation on grammarian. Our last report is coming from the all counter. So please greet Bakari.
All right. I am beaming with refulgent. Today was awesome. Everybody did really good. In the prepared speeches, Jody, you only had 2 arms, which was very, very good. Larry, yours was perfect. No filler words. Chris, the same thing, you did good. No filler words. When it comes to the table topics, everyone that actually presented there, that was Jerry, Tom, Alex, Ladia, Beth, no filler words at all. I mean, that is awesome. That is really great. General evaluation, Beth, you had 1 arm. Aaron, you had a few, and Andrew, you had quite a bit in there. I think you broke my record. You took the cake home. That's all I got for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bakari, and thanks to all the helpers that make this Toastmasters meeting such a great experience for everyone. We are running a few minutes behind, so I am going to cut to the chase, and you'll have to forgive me, but I do have some notes, which I will be using. I am here to evaluate the whole entire meeting, and I have some really good things. It was what I really enjoy about our Toastmasters meeting is the enthusiasm. From the helpers to the people that are participating, it's just always a very positive experience. Starting out with Andrew. Thank you so much, Andrew, for reminding us that we do have the option of not being recorded. I know sometimes we forget to do that, but thank you. Selena, oh my gosh. Something so simple as today is a gift and it is called the present. Oh my gosh, I never made that connection. And you'd think at my age, I would have made that. So thank you for calling that up and really valuing each moment. And I think that was a very important lesson today. Jerry, of course, you're always on point with the technology, and also giving credit to Unmove for being such a great teacher with that. Srinivas, describing you had the meeting run on time and efficiently. Transitions were great. And of course, I love the term of cheerleaders because I wanted to be one at one time. So thank you for that. All the helpers. Chrissy, thank you for being so concise in your evaluation. Bakari, same thing. And Winfei, oh my gosh, I love minions. I just love minions. So thank you for being so creative. Again, this adds to the enthusiasm and to the tenor of our meetings, which is always so great. Finishing up with the evaluators, Beth, thank you for doing such a great job. And when I want to preface this by saying for all the evaluators, all these things that they have said and stated about the specific speakers, you can take and use in your speeches. So when Beth is suggesting the camera, angle, I'm thinking in my head, I need to consider that also. So it's very helpful to all of us. The eye contact, the segueing into conclusions. Aaron, again, using well-placed words and discussing the structure of Christine's speech. And Andrew also describing Larry's speech and the eye contact, which is so important. And I'm having trouble looking at that camera because I struggle with that. And so that's a reminder, I think, for everyone. So it's always good to know. And the pausing is also very important. So all in all, even though when I took over, we are running behind a few minutes, a very good meeting. And I always come out of these meetings feeling very empowered and enthusiastic. So thank you to everyone for that. And now I'm going to turn it back to the Toastmaster, Srinivas, for the presentation of awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Very concise and very fulgent report again. All right, the fun part, the end part, the presentation of the awards. So I'm going to start with table topics. Please give it up for Tom. And best evaluator tonight is Andrew. And best speaker tonight is none other than Christine. And there is another award that I would like to give on my behalf, what I see as very enthusiastic and involved and to lift everybody's mood tonight. You'd like to give it to Miss Selena Robinson for an excellent introduction of what it is to be meaning by present. Great inspiration. Thank you. Now I would like to turn the control to the VP of Membership, Jerry.
Thank you, Srinivas. Our club is refulgent in so many ways. And it's coming through in membership. Our membership totals are getting recognized throughout the division and area. And for that, I've been asked to speak at the next TLI meeting, which is in the agenda. It was posted earlier in the comments. The TLI is going to be, I actually don't see it in the minutes. Maybe I'm missing it, but we can throw it in the
January 9th.
January 9th. Thank you. And one of the reasons why I want to bring that up is we have members from other clubs that may be interested in being a VPM. They might be interested in being a VPM of our club or another club, or perhaps they have someone at their other club that they may wish to upskill in the area of VPM, or at least groom them for that. So I'm very excited about speaking at the TLI because one of the things I've done is make myself replaceable. Everything I've done has been mapped out, and every communication that I've sent has been refined over time and built into a script. I'm going to deliver that message at TLI, all those resources to help uplift every single Toastmasters club that we can. So, January 9th, feel free to come. You don't have to have that aspiration to be a leader in the specific role or even in a club. You're welcome to join regardless of your intentions. We don't have any guests today because we kind of locked up everybody that we've had. Alex, I don't know that I'd call you a guest because
there you go.
you remember. But you haven't been with us in the virtual world. Would you mind giving your feedback as to how you think we've adjusted in this environment?
I was actually really impressed. I thought you guys have done a really good job, and I'm really glad to see that we still have so much turnout, even doing virtual. I think it's not quite the same. It's not quite as fun, but I'm really glad everyone's still giving their best shot. I also thought the voting was actually so much simpler in virtual than normally it is, because you have to like write it down and then go count it up and stuff. So I thought it was really good. I honestly don't think you can do much better than this. So
that's high praise, Alex. Thank you. And we hope to have you back. I know you mentioned that this is easier, and we'll see you again. So
yeah, I'll definitely be back.
We're looking forward to that.
I don't think I finished all my levels, so I still want to do that. So
yeah. And I think you were pretty close, so that would be great. And Ladia is our newest member. So I did want to give Ladia a shout out for joining and doing table topics today. Congratulations on conquering that feat. And that's really it on the membership front. I'd like to turn the meeting over to the Vice President of Education, Anu.
Hello, everyone. I have to repeat what Jerry said. I want to thank all of you for your participation, especially with the new members' participation. It really makes our meeting refulgent. I finally used it. So I really want to thank all of you, and also just simply joining us in this meeting. I really want to thank you. One notice I want to give you is that a deadline to get our free path is December 31st. So if you didn't get your free path yet, just go to a Toastmaster International website and get your free one. And also we are having a club selection, which is kind of a mock contest. And you can compete with anyone, and if you win, if you are selected as our club contestant, you will go on the upper level to meet other good speakers as well. And this is a wonderful experience because you will learn from all the feedbacks, and also you have the opportunity to refine your speech again and again, and you will be amazed how your first speech will be so much different than your final speech. Our club selection will be on January 7th. So if you consider you as a contestant, you can either compete as international speech contest, which is a 5 to 7 minute speech, just like prepared speech. And you can also compete as a table topic speaker and also a humorous speech speaker, as I believe Christine with number 7 was humorous speech. And lastly, as Jerry mentioned, we have winter TLI, and if you are officer, and also even though you are not officer, if you are interested in leadership role, you can also join and learn from all the leadership things. And the winter TLI is January 9th, I guess, on Saturday. That would be all for my part. Oh, as Beth mentioned, TLI is Toastmaster Leadership Institute, where we teaches about all the leadership roles. And now I would like to give my control to Larry.
Well, awesome meeting as usual. I mean, we never ever not have awesome meetings here. Yeah, thank you for those of you who especially our newer members taking roles. Awesome job. Just love that. Some excellent comments today. Thank you, for my evaluation. I changed my office, so I don't have as much depth now, and I should have rehearsed it before, so good catch there. If it caught your attention about speech content, or well, speech selection, there are certain requirements to move on, so check with Uno about that, so that you make sure that we can get you involved in that. We have a specific reason we do that rather than a contest. I can't imagine those of you who've been with Toastmasters as well, trying to actually organize a speech contest virtually with all of the moving parts. And I throw out one last comment. Very cool idea. That principle of having that prepared to hand to the next VPM. That's right out of the book called, which you probably have read because the way it sounds like you did. It's called the E-Myth or the E-Myth Revisited. You make, even if you're doing a mom and pop shop, do it so it can be a franchise of 5,000. So good job, good. All right, so does anybody have any other club business before we split for the evening? Yes, Gary.
I just want to draw attention to the agenda at the bottom in the notes. I want to announce that December 7th, we will be launching our book study again, reading the book, The Power of Moments. And one of the neat things about this is I was talking to Selena about it, and she actually just became a published author, and it's similar to this topic. She used this book as part of her research. So I'm so excited to read this book with our group, and I look forward to everything that we will share over the coming weeks. If you are interested in joining in the book study, please contact me and I'll make sure to get you plugged in. Thank you, Larry.
I have a question for Anu. Did she say something about claiming an extra path, or what was because
yes,
I know
if you have you renew your membership, you will get a free path.
Oh, okay. Because I actually have a extra path that I'm supposed to get, being that I was a member of 2 clubs when they started the program. I haven't claimed that yet. I was told to wait. So
I think that would be an additional one.
Well, okay. So I just want to make sure it wasn't the same thing.
No.
Okay.
It's only to encourage the virtual environment. So the international president just provide us free path.
Okay.
I think the deadline is March 31st, isn't it? Next year.
No, I'm pretty certain you have to select it by December 31st. And then if you decide that you didn't select the right one, you can change which one you have, I think, until March. But you have to redeem your free path by the end of December.
Yeah, it's easy. Just go there, and then I think it's not user friendly, but you can easily select one.
So I didn't want to close this out before. We see at the bottom of our agenda, it talks about training, but I didn't see any announced for this evening. So I'm assuming we do not have one.
Doesn't talk about training, does it?
Well, optional training.
We don't have one tonight.
It's not on the agenda.
Okay, so I didn't want to say we're closing everything out if somebody had something in mind. Okay.
Don't forget picture.
Yeah, group photo. So I will do that, right?
Okay.
Okay, everyone, look at the screen and bring your big smile. Say cheese. 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you.
Great job. Yeah. So go out and bring new members in for next meeting, and have a great couple of weeks, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good week.
You
You
too.
too.
Be safe.
Remember, enjoy the moment.
Alex, way to put your head in front of that